Today we are going to start the topic magnetism and matter. As you can see this word magnetism, in that you can see a word magnet. Let us have a small flash on this word magnet. You might have studied in your school days. Magnet, actually it is a word derived from the original word magnetite, or it is also called lodestone. Magnetite is an ore of iron. It is found in the place called Magnesia. It is an island near Greece. It is magnetite is the material or lodestone. Lodestone means actually it is a word leading stone. From leading stone it is called lodestone. Leading stone means earlier this material was used by the navigators to tap the directions of their ship. So, that is why this is also called lodestone shortly. And magnetite is an iron ore. It is shortly taken as magnet. This magnet is basically from iron ore. What is the speciality of this iron ore magnet? It has a property called attractive property. Attractive property. This attractive property means this magnet can attract the small pieces of iron, cobalt, etc. That is why it is having a special property called attractive property. Okay. Now, what is magnetism? We are coming to the important word what is involved in this chapter. It is magnetism. What is magnetism? Magnetism is a property of a magnet. Magnetism is a property of a magnet to attract substances like iron, cobalt, nickel, etc. This is the property called magnetism, and the substances which are attracted by the magnet, they are called magnetic substances. So, we have some of the magnetic substances here: iron, cobalt, nickel, etc. They are called magnetic substances. We have magnetic field. The word called magnetic field. Magnetic field, it is a quantity, physical quantity denoted by B. Also, it is a vector. It is a vector. Magnetic field is a vector. So, we can write it as B vector. Magnetic field is the region surrounding a magnet in which it can attract or repel any other magnetic substances. So, it is a region in which or region surrounding a magnet it can attract. So, if you consider the different types of magnets, different types of magnets are bar magnet, we have horseshoe magnet, then magnetic needle, magnetic needle. So, the bar magnet in which you can find rectangular cross section, rectangular cross section magnet and circular cross section magnet. Rectangular cross section magnets means they can be of this shape, and circular cross section magnet means they are in the shape, cylindrical shape. Cylindrical shape it is. So, next we have horseshoe magnet. Horseshoe magnet means it is in the shape that is almost U shape. Magnetic needle which is used in the compass. So, in all these magnets there are two poles, one is called north, other one is called south. North, south, north, south. Like this we have poles north and south. The north pole here in case of magnetic needle is always given or indicated by a small dot in it, that is called the magnetic needle. So, what are these magnetic poles? So, when we come to this magnetic poles, first of all you have to consider one of the property of the magnet called directive property. Directive property. What is this directive property of a magnet? When you suspend a magnet, say I am considering here a small stand, this is a small stand taken and I am suspending a magnet, bar magnet. I am considering a bar magnet here. This is a bar magnet taken. When it is suspended to move freely, to rotate freely or to move freely. So, when you suspend by using a small thread, by itself this bar magnet, this is a bar magnet, by itself it comes to rest along the geographic north-south, geographic north-south. So, the end of the magnet pointing towards geographic north is called north pole of the magnet. End of the magnet which is facing towards geographic south is called south pole of the magnet. Also, we can observe that, say if we consider there is a sheet of paper sheet. On this paper sheet, if you spread out the iron filings uniformly, if you spread out, after spreading the iron filing, now you place a magnet bar magnet, if it is placed, this is the bar magnet. When you place a bar magnet on the paper sheet where the iron filings are spread, now what happens as a result, this is the bar magnet, you can observe the bar magnet, the iron filings, they are crowding near the two ends. So, the poles means they definitely have strong magnetic field. This magnetic field, what I told, at the poles it is very strong, and here in the middle region it will be less magnetic field. So, when you consider this magnet, there are some demerits. If it is a natural magnet, means it is found in the nature, natural magnet, the natural magnets have almost a very small magnetic field, and also their shapes are irregular. Because of this, we cannot conclude many of the things which are to be studied in magnetism and matter. That is why we consider artificial magnets. What is the benefit of artificial magnets? Artificial magnets can produce a strong or better magnetic field, as well as they can be obtained in the desired shape, in the required shape. That is why we always prefer the artificial magnets. How to produce these artificial magnets? Artificial magnets can be produced by using the electrical methods or by some rubbing method, etc. There are so many methods of producing these artificial magnets. Now, that is how you can convert iron piece or you can convert steel into a magnet by various methods. How to demagnetize? For demagnetization, we have a method called HHD. HHD means either heating or hammering or by dropping a magnet. Heating, hammering and dropping a magnet. By these methods, you can demagnetize, methods of demagnetization. But here in most of the process, demagnetization is not a big matter here. We are always interested on magnetization. Okay. Now, coming to the magnetic field. I will consider in the vector form only. Magnetic field, once again, as you have seen in case of electrostatics, there is electric field, there is uniform electric field. Similarly, here it is uniform magnetic field and non-uniform magnetic field. Like electric field, there is uniform electric field and non-uniform electric field. Here it is uniform magnetic field and non-uniform magnetic field. So, first we will consider uniform magnetic field. Magnetic field is said to be uniform if the magnitude and direction of the magnetic field is same at every point in the field. So, magnetic field, we have seen magnetic field is a region. In that region, if the magnitude and direction, because we have magnetic field, it is a vector, so it has got magnitude and direction. So, both things must be in consideration. So, magnitude and direction of both, that is magnitude and direction of the magnetic field, if it is remaining same at every point in the magnetic field, then it is called uniform magnetic field. If the magnitude and direction of the magnetic field is different at different points, then it is called non-uniform magnetic field. Now, uniform magnetic field, in which you can see there are some representations of the magnetic field lines. Magnetic field lines, they are like parallel arrows, equispaced parallel arrows representing uniform magnetic field. Another uniform magnetic field can be represented as, you can see here, to represent the uniform magnetic field, we are representing it by dots, equispaced dots. This is also uniform magnetic field. Another uniform magnetic field representation by equispaced cross marks like this. Equispaced cross marks. Now, what is the difference between these two uniform magnetic fields? What is the difference between these two uniform magnetic fields? Look at this one. This is uniform magnetic field perpendicular to plane of paper and outward. And what is this uniform magnetic field? Is once again perpendicular to plane of paper and it is inward. This is the difference between these two uniform magnetic fields. Therefore, there are three types of representation of the uniform magnetic field. Uniform magnetic field can be represented by the equispaced arrows parallel to each other, and here it is equispaced dots, here equispaced cross marks. All those representations have their own significance. Okay. Non-uniform magnetic field. The non-uniform magnetic field can be represented by the converging magnetic field lines like this, or they can be represented as diverging magnetic field lines, or they can be represented as the curved magnetic field lines. So, all these, that is converging magnetic field lines or diverging magnetic field lines or the curved magnetic field lines, represents non-uniform magnetic field. Next, I already spoke about this word magnetic field lines. Magnetic field lines, or they can be also named as magnetic lines of force, magnetic field lines or magnetic lines of force. So, what are these magnetic field lines? They are the curves drawn in magnetic field but simply when you draw a curve, it cannot become a magnetic field line. So, curve drawn in the magnetic field, the condition is at any point if we draw a tangent, if we draw a tangent, it should represent or it represents magnetic field vector, means both in magnitude and direction. So, a curve drawn in the magnetic field at any point, if we draw a tangent, it should represent the magnetic field, then that curve is called as magnetic field line. So, if it represents whole and solely, if it represents the magnetic field both in magnitude and direction, then that curve is to be called as magnetic field line. What are the properties of this magnetic field line? Properties of the magnetic field line. Properties of magnetic field line. First property what we can consider, magnetic field lines two magnetic field lines never intersect. Never intersect. They do not intersect with each other. The magnetic field lines, they are closed loops emerging from north pole. Closed loops which are emerging from north pole and into the south pole of magnet. They are the closed loops. So, if you assume there is a bar magnet, this is north pole and this is south pole. The magnetic field lines are the closed loops. They are the closed loops emerging out from the north pole and into the south pole. So, we can observe these are the magnetic field lines of a bar magnet. They are outward emerging from north pole and inward to the south pole. And you can observe always the magnetic field lines they can be of a bar magnet I have taken. So, it is they are represented like this. Next, the magnetic field lines can pass, they can pass through conductors and insulators, but they cannot pass, magnetic field lines cannot pass through superconductors. Magnetic field lines never pass through superconductors. At any point if we draw tangent, already it is told, at any point if we draw tangent to the magnetic field lines, you will get the direction of the magnetic field at that point. The direction of the magnetic field can be obtained by using this magnetic field lines. So, like this we can list out many number of properties of the magnetic field lines. Next, it is one of the important property what we can observe, it is the magnetic dipole moment. We similarly studied in electrostatics electric dipole moment. Let us recap that electric dipole moment. Electric dipole moment. What is electric dipole moment? Electric dipole moment is denoted by P. P is equal to, taken as it is Q into 2A. 2A is taken as length of the electric dipole length, and Q is taken as charge. Now, similar to that, if you take the recap to the magnetic dipole moment, it is denoted as M. M is equal to, here it is taken pole strength Qm into 2L, where 2L is taken as magnetic length. 2L is taken as, this is magnetic length. And what is Qm is called pole strength. So, this is one of the formula, but in the previous chapter I will just have an import here. This is import from the previous chapter. What is this import is? Magnetic moment, capital M is magnetic moment, magnetic dipole moment, or it can be simply called as magnetic moment. Magnetic moment can be equal to I into A. Magnetic moment is equal to I into A for a current loop. Magnetic moment is equal to N into I into A. It is for current carrying coil. Magnetic moment is a vector, so we can represent it as a vector, but the direction of this vector is in the direction of area vector. Magnetic moment is always in the direction of area vector. So, we can write from the previous chapter we got these relations for magnetic moment. We can import those relations here also, magnetic moment. Here the magnetic moment is for a current loop, it was studied. Magnetic moment of a current carrying coil, it was studied, because the current carrying loop acts as a magnetic dipole. We can use that relation wherever it is to be applied, magnetic dipole moment. So, what we can observe mainly, magnetic dipole moment is a vector. It has the direction of area vector. Area vector means it is the direction normal to the given area. So, that is the direction of the magnetic moment. Next, coming to magnetic flux. Magnetic flux. Magnetic flux can be denoted as phi B. We have seen the electric flux we have seen in electric field, that was represented by phi. Now, here we are representing it as phi B, magnetic flux. Magnetic flux means it is number of magnetic field lines passing normally through the given area. Number of magnetic field lines passing normally through the given area. What formula we had for electric flux? Just recap. Electric flux formula was phi is equal to E delta S. Between them you took dot product and you got it as E delta S cos theta, where delta S is the small area in which the electric field is uniform. Okay, now similar to that, magnetic flux, instead of E you have to take B and B delta S. So, it will be B delta S cos theta. Here it is B dot delta S, dot product between magnetic field and area vector, magnetic field vector and area vector. So, you are getting, because of the dot product, you are getting magnetic flux. It is a scalar. Magnetic flux is a scalar, because it is represented as the dot product or scalar product of the magnetic field vector and area vector. So, this is magnetic flux, number of magnetic field lines passing normally through the given area. It is called as magnetic flux. Okay. Next, you had some of the formula in electric dipole. Magnetic electric field, formula for electric field. Electric field at a point on the axis of short electric dipole this formula is given by E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into 2p by r cube. That was the formula what you studied. And this is what I am writing in electric field at a point on the equatorial line. Of short electric dipole. Electric field is given by the formula, I am considering only the magnitude here, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into p by r cube. So, we had two formula in electric field. I am just recapping this formula, these two formula, so that it can help my lesson here. So, I am now considering the formula for magnetic field. Magnetic field of short bar magnet. Similar formula, what I have to change for the magnetic field of short bar magnet? First one, on the axial point, I have to take magnetic field symbol, I have to change from E to B. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught constant should be changed into mu naught by 4 pi. Instead of that P, it should be magnetic moment, that is electric dipole moment P, now magnetic dipole moment M, divided by R cube, where R is the distance of the point from the center of the bar magnet. So, if you take this is the bar magnet, this is the center of the bar magnet, this is the point, distance of the point from the center of the bar magnet is taken as R. This is axial point. Now, equatorial point, second one, on equatorial point, for a point on the equatorial line, what is the formula? You can similarly write B is equal to mu naught by 4 pi into M by R cube, equatorial point. So, we can consider these two are the formula for magnetic field of a short bar magnet, similar to the formula what you studied in electrostatics. Now, let us move on to the solenoid, current carrying solenoid. Current carrying solenoid. Now, why I am taking this current carrying solenoid here? Already you studied about it. For example, I am just considering, this is once again a recap. I am considering a solenoid. Solenoid is a cylindrical coil, as you know. So, it has got many number of turns. I am just representing these terms here like this. A current carrying solenoid. This is just a solenoid. Now, how to make it as current carrying solenoid? How to represent this? I am considering current is flowing like this. Means for an observer facing the end face of the solenoid, for an observer facing the end face of the solenoid, current in that end face is anti-clockwise, means it is going inward here and coming outward, emerging here, emerging outward from the plane of the paper and inward into the plane of the paper, it is here. Okay. So, in all the turns you can represent like that. This is inward, outward, everywhere it is inward, outward, everywhere inward and outward. Sorry, this is outward and inward, outward, inward, outward for all the turns, outward and inward, outward, inward, outward, inward, like this. So, here you can observe the current is in anti-clockwise. So, as you know, this is the axis of the solenoid, the magnetic field, it is towards the observer, along the axis, and it is towards the observer. So, a magnetic field is produced by a solenoid. As you know, it is a magnetic field is produced by a solenoid. So, this current carrying solenoid is similar to a bar magnet. So, it also produces the magnetic field lines. A current carrying solenoid also produces, if it is current flows through the solenoid, then it produces magnetic field lines. Why it is producing magnetic field lines? Because the magnetic field lines are produced whenever there is magnetic field is produced. So, current carrying solenoid acts as a magnet. So, this phase where the magnetic field line is coming outward, no. So, this phase acts as north pole and this is the south pole. So, therefore, how will be the magnetic field lines? They emerge from the north pole. They are the closed loops. Magnetic field lines are the closed loops. They emerge from the north pole and inward into the south pole. So, you can observe the magnetic field lines of a solenoid. So, therefore, the current carrying solenoid and a bar magnet can be compared. So, if this is north pole of the bar magnet, this is south pole, we can or we have already observed the magnetic field lines of this bar magnet. How are those magnetic field lines? We have seen, already we had seen, they are the closed loops like this. They are the closed loops and this is south pole means this is north pole. So, from in the south pole they enter like this, or here it is in the north pole they emerge. So, we can observe there are many number of field lines. Field lines never intersect. While drawing the field lines, you must be very careful. Here they enter, here they emerge. So, therefore, we can have the similarity between a current carrying solenoid and a bar magnet. So, they are almost one and the same. Current carrying solenoid acts as a bar magnet and a bar magnet is very similar to a current carrying solenoid. Now, I will compare this with the electric dipole. Electric dipole, as you have seen, it is a pair of equal and unlike charges separated by a small distance. This is an electric dipole, but how is the electric field line surrounding this electric dipole? As you have seen, electric dipole, electric field lines, they are not closed loops, they are originating from the positive charge and terminate near negative charge. They originate, they start from the positive charge and they terminate, end near negative charge. Electric field lines can be drawn like this. Electric field lines are like this. So, you can observe the many field lines. You can observe the field lines. Of course, the positive charge at which the electric field lines they move outward, here also from north pole they are outward. So, positive charge is very similar to north pole, but what is the speciality here? In case of magnet, you cannot get the isolated pole. The monopole magnet is not existing. Here a single charge, positive charge can be taken, single negative charge, isolated charges can be taken. So, you cannot draw a magnetic for north pole, you can't draw the magnetic field line like this. This is wrong, because magnet cannot be isolated. When you cut a bar magnet, the bar magnet, how it behaves you can see. Bar magnet. Look at this bar magnet. Consider a long bar magnet like this. If this is north pole and this is south pole, now if you cut into two equal pieces, two halves, make it two halves. So, this is south pole only, this is north pole only, but what happens here, when you cut, it will become a magnet, two magnet it is. Now, if you further cut into small piece, again you divide each piece into two halves. Each piece is divided into two halves. How it behaves you see, this is north, here new south pole for that, new north pole, this is south, this will be north only, this will be south, north, south, like this. The poles will be rearranged. Therefore, you cannot get, even though you go to an atomic level, there also you cannot get isolated pole, you will get only the magnet always existing in the form of dipole only, whereas electric charge can be isolated as a mono charge, single positive charge, single negative charge, okay, that representation is possible, but magnet means it should have dipole. Okay. Now, we have to prove that, this is theoretically we have told a current carrying solenoid acts as a bar magnet. Now, we have to prove it. To show that a current carrying solenoid acts as a bar magnet. Current carrying solenoid. Similar to bar magnet. Let us consider a solenoid. I am considering the solenoid here in the simple form, not as complicated as it is drawn in the above diagram. This is the solenoid. I am considering the length of this solenoid. Length of the solenoid is 2L. Okay. Now, I will mention one by one. 2L is taken as length of solenoid. Capital N is the total number of turns. Total number of turns in the solenoid. What I am taking here, it is small n, do not confuse, small n is the number of turns per unit length of the solenoid, number of turns per unit length of the solenoid. Therefore, what you can write, capital N is equal to small n into 2L. Small n into 2L gives you capital N. Now, how I am arranging this 2L, you see, this is very important. We are taking the center of the solenoid as O. From O, I am taking plus L and minus L here. Minus L to left side, plus L to right side. That is how this 2L has been arranged. So you can easily identify that we are now going to the Cartesian form. So it is very easy to understand if you apply the Cartesian form. Now you want, say you have a point P here. Point P is taken at distance r. Point P is taken at distance r from the center. From the center of the dipole, I am taking the distance from the center of the dipole. Point P is at distance r from the center O of the solenoid, current carrying solenoid. Say I is the current I is current. Okay. Then you consider a circular current element here, circular element of this solenoid, that is a small element of the solenoid. What is the thickness? The thickness of this solenoid is taken as dx. So dx, what is ds? Dx is the thickness of circular element of solenoid. So therefore, what is the number of turns? In circular element, number of turns in the circular element, it is n into dx, because we have taken n, small n as the number of turns per unit length, that small n into dx. Dx is the thickness, n into dx gives you number of turns in the circular element, n dx. Okay. Now let us consider the distance of this circular element from the center of the dipole is x. So what is the distance of this circular element from point P, or what is the distance of point P from this circular element is r minus x. This is the distance of the circular element, this one, circular element from point P is taken as r minus x. So this is the arrangement what we have. Now I wanted to write the formula what is imported from the previous chapter. Magnetic field at a point on the axis of the circular coil. Magnetic field at a point on the axis of the circular coil, mu naught by 4 pi into 2 pi n I r square divided by r square plus x square whole to the power of 3 by 2. You had, I think, this is the circular loop, magnetic field at a point at distance x from the center. This is I is the current, n circular coil I am taking. So n is the number of turns, I is the current, r is the radius. So here I am taking radius as r only. Radius of the solenoid also it is r. Okay. So now I am taking this circular current element is similar to this circular coil. Therefore, what is the magnetic field? Magnetic field at P due to circular element, considering it as dB. Circular element, due to this circular element only, what is that magnetic field is small magnetic field at P. So similar using this formula. So it is mu naught by 4 pi as it is. Next, 2 pi no change. Instead of capital N, it is capital N represents number of turns. Here we have on this dx, number of turns in this circular element is n dx. Instead of capital N it is. Current flowing is I, okay, then radius is r, so it is r square divided by r square plus x is the distance of the point from the center. So, here what is the distance of the point from the center is r minus x. So, it will be r minus x whole square whole to the power 3 by 2. This is one of the term or what is the expression obtained by using this formula. Okay. Now, here in this formula, in above formula, using this above step, look at this r. R is much greater than x it is. It is large, very large compared to x, as well as this r is very large compared to this radius. Radius of the solenoid compared to this radius, distance r is large. Therefore, what you can write here, this r can be neglected, this x can be neglected. So, therefore, what is dB will be equal to mu naught by 4 pi into 2 pi n dx, no change, I no change, r square divided by what you get, divided by you get it as small r cube. It is this denominator is simplified into small r cube. Now, this is we have taken only for one element. Now, for full solenoid, if you take complete solenoid, for full solenoid, the magnetic field at P, is B is equal to integration of dB from minus L to plus L, limit we will take. So, what is dB? Here you can write dB as mu naught by 4 pi into 2 pi, we will take n here, I here, r square here, divide by r cube, dx you can write here. So, now you can take that step here, instead of dB, you will write here it is minus L to plus L is the limit, and mu naught by 4 pi 2 pi n I r square divided by r cube dx. So, therefore, B is equal to mu naught by 4 pi is taken outside, 2 pi n I r square divided by r cube, everything taken outside because they are all remaining constant, integration of dx from minus L to plus L. What is integration of dx is x. So, therefore, you will get mu naught by 4 pi 2 pi n I r square divided by r cube. Here it is integration of dx is x. What is the limit? What is the limit you are getting? It is minus L to plus L. So, it will be mu naught by 4 pi into 2 pi n I r square divided by r cube x. What is the final limit is L minus L. Okay. So, L minus of minus L becomes 2L. L minus of minus L become 2L. So, it will be mu naught by 4 pi ಒಂಚೂರು ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. This is equal to mu naught by 4 pi into 2 pi n I r square divided by r cube into 2l. Okay, here we can substitute n into 2l is taken as capital N. Pi r square is taken as area. So, it will be pi r square is area, n into 2l is capital N and I is remaining. So, what you can write, therefore, it is n into I into A. This n into I into A is taken as m. Therefore, together what you get, mu naught by 4 pi into 2 into m. Pi r square is already taken, n into 2l is taken, I is taken out. Together it is m divided by r cube. So, what you can observe here, this formula already I wrote, because the magnetic field of a bar magnet at a point on its axis, magnetic field of a bar magnet at a point on its axis is given by the formula B equal to mu naught by 4 pi into 2 m by r cube. So, same formula you are getting for a solenoid also. So, therefore, what you can conclude, the solenoid is similar to a bar magnet. So, that is the conclusion can be taken. That is about the bar magnet and solenoid. So,